Hi, and welcome. This is lesson 1 of my Sewing School sewing series here on YouTube. My name is Michelle, and I will show you a little blurb of me setting up my sewing space. I'm doing very basic stuff for right now, just essential stuff. And then as we go along, we'll see what we need to add. I am using our instruction booklets here, and as well as a little handy dandy sheet I pulled from one of the magazines. And I will actually scan this and made it into a PDF, and I'm going to share that with you. So this will be linked below. So let's look at it first because it's shorter. Let's see, tools I must have, and I'll put it up on the screen as I read it. Stitching tools, pins, check. Hand sewing needles. Technically, I have hand sewing needles, but I'm hand quilting a quilt in the living room right now. So all my hand sewing stuff is in there. I don't like to do a whole lot of hand sewing when I'm using a sewing machine, but there are a few things where I assume you need to. So, machine sewing needles. So here is the machine I think I'm going to be using. It's got a needle in it and thread. Let's see. I don't have any thread on this yet, do I? But I have some thread. Here we'll be using Gutterman thread. I have this in white. Check. Cutting tools. Bent handled shears. Okay. Not sure these are technically shears. Are these bent handled? I don't know. I guess they are. These are my regular fabric cutting shears. These are also fabric cutting shears or scissors. And then I also have non-fabric cutting scissors for paper or what have you. And then my mother's pinking shears. So some of the booklets mention those and some of them don't. Let's see. Oh, it does have pinking or scalloping shears. Seam ripper. I have 2. I technically have 3, but the other one stays with my cross stitch stuff. Measuring / marking tools. Tape measure. I have several, but this is the first one I came across. Tape measure. Let's see, yardstick or meter stick. I'm not sure you need that, but I do have some rulers. And then some other marking tools. Dressmaker's tracing paper, chalk pencils, tracing wheel. We'll get into more of that when we go to in the more advanced school series that I'll do, because I'm going to continue this on. As long as I have some kind of analog paper resources, I'll carry on. We'll get more into the measuring and marking tools section when we start making clothes. So, fitting tools, same thing. We'll get more into that when we do clothes, but it does say full length mirror, a French curve, see-through rulers, tissue paper, transparent tape, paper scissors, pencil or nylon tip pen. And then pressing tools. So ironing board, a steam iron, and press cloths. So let me spin you around here. That's where my little setup is. I recently picked this up. I do have a big iron, but I tend to use this in here. I do need to clean it, so we'll do that. Here, I don't know if you can even see that. See, I did a video a while back and I'll do a card up if you're interested. How I did that, it's kind of a funny little burb. So I have the little bitty iron, and I have this, what do they call this? Cushioned quilter square and blocker. I don't know that I would want to block something because you're putting something wet, right, on it. So I'm not sure I would want to do that, but have this, my little pressing, and technically you can flip it over because it's just cardboard, and since I'm just using scissors and not a rotary cutter yet, I guess technically if you're real careful, you could cut on this. I'm not sure I want to do that. So I do have this small, very old cutting mat. This is actually the very first, second cutting mat I ever had. I'm rough on my cutting mats. I tend to use one side for crafting and one side for quilting. It's probably not a good idea, but that's what I do. So they get kind of worn out. This one actually has a crack in it, but it's going to be, like I said in my other video, what you have is just fine for right now. We're learning. So whatever you have. See if I can find the crack. Right there. Yep, see, it's busted right there. Boop, boop, boop. So, but we're going to use it. It'll be fine. And see what else it says here. Sorry, I hope you're not dizzy. Where was I? Oh, steam iron, ironing board, press cloths. So, pretty good, I think. And that is the little tools of the trade, little insert from one of the magazines. And like I said, I'll have this linked below in PDF form if you want to print it out and use it, check it off yourself. And then let's take a look. Let me put these scissors up. Back up in the little basket. Let's look at our little instruction manual here. Sewing tools. Let's see. Measuring. Now they talk about a seam gauge. I had one of those for a long, long time. I have no idea what happened to it. I never used it. Tape measure. Yard or meter stick. Skirt marker. Triangle ruler. This is all for like clothing again. I do have one of these little hem gauges. I do have one of those somewhere. I've used it actually. So we might break that out. Let's see. Cutting. Shears. Seam ripper. Okay. Scissors. Thread clips. Pinking shears again. Cutting board. It says just to use, it just calls it a cutting board. And I've seen these at the thrift store before. They're always in pretty bad shape. I guess it's just cardboard that you lay down and you can cut on top of that. I see a lot of people, not a lot, a handful of people on YouTube cutting like on top of a rug or carpet. And that seems like it would dull your scissors to me, and I don't know. I'm not sure that's for me. Hand sewing items. Oh, and then, okay. Then this actually has instructions. Sorry, I took this thing apart so I could scan it into the computer. And I guess I need to put it back together because I'm all out of order here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then what else does I have? Yes. Hand sewing. Needles. needle threader. I never got those to work for me. Magnetized pen holders, what I have. Iron. I think we're pretty good. Pressing cloth, and then it talks about Tailors Ham. This again will be more for when we start doing clothes, but it talks about making your own Tailors Ham and seam board and point presser, which is pretty neat. Very neat, actually, and a seam roll of making your own. Nice. So I might do a little video extra, and we can make our own Tailors Ham and seam board and things when we get to that point. Anyway, I think that's about all we need for right now. So it's really not that much stuff. So I feel pretty good about that. How do you feel? Let me know. You feel kind of prepared for this sewing series journey? Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions or anything too down below. Okay, then this other thing, pressing tools. Yeah, this just has pressing tools. There's really nice pictures. I'll try to put all this stuff up on the screen so you can kind of see it as I'm looking at it. Fitting tools, measuring and marking tools. Yep, all this is just kind of the same. So, feel pretty good about all of that. I think we're in good shape. So, my station is set up. I'm really happy with it. I ended up taking everything down from here just to kind of have a nice clean space. I did put a few little mementos and things, personalizations in my cubby there for now. And I think that's about it. Everything looks pretty good, right? Okay, well, I feel really good. Let me know how you feel about having your space set up. You will notice that even though I have the whole room here, I chose to only use this part. This right here. That's my little ironing station, and actually my cross stitch stuff is under there. And this is where I will sew. So I like, even though I've always had, even in my apartments and things, I always, when I could, I got a 2-bedroom apartment so that 1 bedroom could be my craft room. So I've always had a dedicated craft room, but I've always kind of had one little section of wherever I live. I prefer small sewing spaces is what I'm saying. So don't feel like you need to have a big, elaborate, dedicated space. I do recommend a dedicated ironing station that's close to your sewing machine, because that definitely comes in handy. And so yes, small spaces is just fine, and that's actually what I prefer. So one addition I did do that I've never really stuck to is I put up some boards. So this is a big cork board that I've had 1,000 years, and I just stuck it up on the back of the door. And then I have the little whiteout board here, and that's going to be just kind of inspiration and whatever I want it to be. And then if I get kind of overwhelmed with too much clutter on the walls, I can just open that door up and it's hidden. So I thought that was pretty clever. But I am ready. I am very excited. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And we will be making really fun stuff together before you know it. So next week, we will be going over the sewing machine and all the sewing machine parts in detail. So, using this machine. and using the booklet. And I have scanned it in as well, and I will share it as a PDF as well so that you can, because it's got a lot of little nitty-gritty details in it. So we'll go through all of that next week, and we'll go from there. So what do you need? So for next week, be sure and have your sewing machine, have a needle for it, thread, and a bobbin. So this one, oh, it does have a bobbin still in it. I haven't messed with this machine in 20 plus years, so it's going to be really interesting to see what I remember. This one takes metal bobbins, which is so nice. So that's bobbin. So have the sewing machine, needle, bobbin, and you really won't need any thread next week. I don't know why I said that. Well, we might. Yeah, I guess you will, because we'll show how to thread the machine. So the next week is all about the machines. And I don't know if I remember how to get this. Okay. And let me know down below what you are hoping to get out of this series and any kind of questions you have, big or small. And I think I will put up a little poll on my Instagram. I will start linking my socials down below. I will put a poll up on Instagram if y'all want me, if you want to see the series using this machine or my quantum stylus Singer. So I'm good either way. So just let me know. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye. One more thing. Show me your sewing setups, especially if you have like a good before and after. Everybody loves a good before and after of your sewing setup on Instagram. So I'll link that down below. Okay.